part of the Department of Human Resources. It involves writing and analysis and monitoring, and therefore I use my computer as my primary tool. It's called a Voyager XL, and what the Voyager does, it's put out by a company called Telesensory, and it's a closed-circuit TV system that allows me to put printed material underneath a camera, and the camera then transfers the printed material onto a screen, and in turn allows me to make it as large as I need to make it in order to see the camera mechanism, and it would enlarge it to as large as I need it to be. Now, if I needed the letters to be that large to read, which in fact I do, I would then go to the beginning of the paragraph, and then I would read across it by moving the paper across the screen and reading as I went along. So you could then see what was on the page. The rest of the right, I'll just type my name, and you can see how it would come out on the computer. So it would be very, oops, misspelled my own name. And their system, which would read what's on the screen to me through a voice synthesizer. But in closed circuit TV, rather than reading it on the screen as my vision gets worse, I'm going to use a scanner system which would allow me to take this piece of paper, scan it into a computer, and then have the computer read it back to me in a matter of seconds. And what I have is a talking watch, and I just press the button.
12:24 p.m.
So it tells me it's 12:24 p.m., and that is about time for my noontime walk. And I'll take my cane, and we'll go out for our exercise. Goodbye, Hattie. And I usually do anywhere from 2.5 to 3 miles for my lunchtime walk. And we'll start off by telling you a little bit about how I use the cane. Now this cane, it's actually, technically it's a little bit short for me, but, oh well, that's okay, we improvise. So the ground and where you're going, so that you know when steps come up. For example, without looking, not that it would do me any good to look, but I can find that there's a drop right there. I do it every day, it kind of is.
Rather high speed, I would say.
We're going to cross over Punchbowl Street alongside of King Street. We're right here by Honolulu Hale, and we're going over to where Iolani Palace is. Now what I'm going to do is listen for the traffic patterns on crossing the street. Right now you can hear that the traffic is coming off of Punchbowl Street and turning on to King Street. And what I would do is I would go to the corner and I would wait to listen which direction the traffic is coming in, and now I know that now I would be crossing if I were at the corner because King Street just started going.
Crossing the street.
Some of the adaptive technologies I use in my kitchen, the microwave is just, it uses a regular label gun of Dymotape, and it comes in clear, red, or black, and I just braille the letters on it, and I use clear so that you can still see the numbers and the command keys through the Dymotape. So it's really a very simple and inexpensive technology.
You're now holding up the magnetic tape that you also make.
Right, and this is for labeling anything that's metal. Any kinds of cans is what I usually use it for. And it's the same thing. I braille what the item is in the can, and I just slap it on the top of the can. And instead of having a sticky back, the way those Dymotape types of things have, the embossing guns, it's magnetic. So you can then use it and just put it on your refrigerator when you've opened the can, and you have an automatic shopping list. As your refrigerator, side of your refrigerator fills up with these Dymotape labels, you come up with a shopping list of what you've used and what you need.
You're holding up the little tool right now that you brought. Actually, I think you'll have a chance to show it.
And I'll have a chance to show that, yeah. It's a regular embossing gun that has different wheels on it for regular, for large print, regular print and Braille output.
Now you're in your pantry holding up a can of corn, I believe.
Yeah, and that's just a demonstration of how the Dymo tape works, and being able to just put it on the lid. I can run my fingers across the top of the can. I do keep my pantry in alphabetical order, but in case it does get mixed up, I'm still able to know what the item is.
Now you're holding up a Braille, looks like a 3x5 or 5x7 card.
On a box.
Yes, on a box.
For different kinds of foods, for example, instant type foods or things that might come in a box, anything from cake mix to potatoes in this case, I just tear the top off the box and I paper clip a 3x5 card to the box, which tells me the flavor of what it is and very basic cooking instructions like the kind of ingredients. So if there's more than one of the same flavor, then I just put the card on the first box, and then if there's two more after it without a card, I know those are the same flavor, and I just move the card back as I use each box.
I'll just switch you again now. You use the epoxy to put markers on your stove and some of your other...
That's right.
Mention that too.
It's a epoxy type marker, and it comes in fluorescent red for people who have some vision, but my vision is so low that I really can't see it, but it makes a tactile raised shape that you can feel, and it's permanent, so it won't come off. And I use it to label my stove so that I put it along the side of the stove, and I line it up so that the off arrow will point to a particular place on the stove when the temperature is lined up to the right place. It's kind of the reverse of how most people would use it looking at the knob. And the reason I did it that way was because if I were to put the epoxy over the numbers, then nobody else would be able to use those numbers very easily. So I